construction industry's innovation and technology show.
So, hello and welcome to another episode of the AEC Business Podcast, the go-to spot for all things innovation and technology within the architecture, engineering and construction industry. I'm your host, Aarni Heiskanen, and today my guest is Maret Thatcher, CEO at Argyle, a construction AR software company. Hello, Maret. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, finally. I think we have actually tried before to have this discussion, but now we made it.
We finally made it.
Yeah. So for our audience who already don't know you and your company, maybe you could tell us a little bit about what you do and who are your customers.
Sure. So my name's Maret. I am the founder and CEO of Argyle. Argyle Build online if you want to look for us. And I got really excited when I saw the first HoloLens and I saw holograms were going to be like a real thing. And immediately my mind went to construction, where I was basically born and raised. And very quickly stopped being a lawyer and started being, I guess, whatever you call me now. And just so excited to be back into construction and working with this industry. You asked who our customers are. We get interest from all over AEC, like from architects and engineers and construction, from general contractors and trades. I see the most zealous use, everyday use, I can tell who logs in, from my union pipe fitters, from electricians, from really the trades, the most hands-on proximate people to the problem. And that just thrills me. I'm so excited about that because that means I've made it easy enough for them.
Yeah, that's perfect. When actually people want to use your application, that's a good sign.
I mean, the least we can do is make them the software they like to use.
Yeah. Well, speaking of AR, what is the current status of AR in business applications and particularly in the construction industry nowadays?
It's kind of past that trough of disillusionment and just figuring out these early use cases to ramping up. We at Argyle have seen massive increase in inbound ever since Apple Vision Pro released its new device. I think there's been renewed interest in the space, which also can come with renewed disillusionment. But there are so many great software companies that have been building since the HoloLens one and have been making it for new platforms. And Apple's just the one that's caught everyone's attention. So it's a really robust ecosystem of really interesting software that's like nothing else we've seen before, and really important for construction and for AEC, because our industry is spatial. It takes place in 3D. So as much as we can do visually and in 3 dimensions, the better.
Yeah. Perhaps the buzz around Apple Vision Pro has calmed down a little bit, but you see that it's just the beginning maybe for that. Yeah.
Yes. Like the initial sales have died down, but now all of the major enterprises are thinking about it. Construction is thinking about it. It's no longer something that's like a later, and businesses are looking now to how they're going to adopt it, use it. And the ones that are ahead of the curve are, signing in every day.
Yeah.
And I'm just like cheering them on, like, yeah.
Well, if you think about AR, where would you say during the construction process can AR tools create value and how?
Okay, like I don't want to say all over and everywhere and seem like, we're promising the world, because that's not the case. But there are use cases at each point during the process. We have a customer who's going to be using Argyle as a way to differentiate themselves in a bid. We have a customer who is using us during the design of building mechanical systems. So making sure that they fit out in the field when they're a hologram. Holograms are very cheap to modify, as we all know. But mechanical systems are much, much more expensive. So they do a look in Argyle, they make modifications, and then they fabricate off of that. So design, fabrication, then we've been seeing it in the actual install process. These workflows, are ones that our customers themselves have pioneered. When we first launched our product, we thought, quality assurance is for sure. We can promise our customers quality assurance level, but they've been digging in to more and more use cases. And I think what's going to happen is after handoff to the owners, we're going to see these digital twins being used on spatial platforms, maybe like Apple Vision Pro, maybe like Magic Leap or Meta. Any of these, I think, are possibilities. Now, during construction, we've opted for more of a clear glass augmented reality. We are not yet on Apple Vision Pro, so I don't want to mislead anyone there. There are some interesting companies who are doing that work, but today we're on Magic Leap 2 and HoloLens 2 and iPads.
Okay.
Let's show the video of Rob's first site walk. So just people know what augmented reality means to us, and we're talking about here is building models that align to the job site. In my case, there's other kinds of augmented reality.
Okay, let's see. Hope I find the right video now.
It's crazy, like, how everything just aligns. It's just cool. I like that you can kind of see, like, it's not like hindering your sight too, so like you can walk around, you're not going to trip over stuff. Like you can just click on stuff here and you hit the eye. Yeah. That's cool. Oh, this is cool. Oh yeah, and it just keeps going as you like walk. That's awesome.
All right, very good. And very responsive, I would say. I didn't see any lag.
Well, I saw tons because we've made so many improvements since that video. But
Okay.
thank you. I agree there's been a lot of improvements in the usability of augmented reality. I think if somebody has tried augmented reality in the past, they should really give new tools a try. It's much different.
Well, but there is, I think, a challenge in the industry. It's not easy to introduce new ways of doing things, especially with new technology. Based on your experience, what has been effective and what hasn't in introducing new things?
Oh gosh, it takes a while to find the right buyer. I think, well, here's construction. Construction needs a very sophisticated product. And so knowing what stage we were as a startup before we really went to market was really good for us. And I think in some ways, like maybe, I don't want to say the horrible pandemic and the shutdowns, that hurt us in a lot of ways, but in some ways it let us focus on research and development, in getting our alignment down, and on doing what Argyle does best, which is site alignment. It took a very long time to get there. It took multiple years of research and development. When we met first, it was 7 years ago, and we were starting to even just think about this problem. So knowing whether I'm going to be, do I have something to give this construction company? And really early on, the answer was no. I was getting something from the construction companies. They were giving me their knowledge. And so I think approaching it as much as possible as a partnership for as long as possible, but then knowing when you need to monetize that as well. So when we realized we finally were offering value, we needed to make a business out of it, of course, so that we can keep sustaining this. So it's just that give and take, and I don't know if there's a single way to approach it, but I do think it's a challenge for sure.
Yeah. You mentioned alignment. Do you mean the alignment of virtual models with reality?
Yes. So You could call it model calibration or alignment. It has been historically one of the biggest challenges in construction augmented reality. We think it's the challenge that made it really not take off like it should. So that was the problem we tackled. In the past, and sort of, other kinds of ways that you might be able to position your model on site are really difficult to set up. They might need to be done in the site or in the office partly, or done by hardware and beacons. There's just not something that a field guy can just pick up and say, oh, there's my grid lines, boop, here I am, boop, I'm aligned. And so Argyle's goal was to make it that easy for the field worker. That's partially user interface and partially our patented technologies that help maintain a long walk alignment. We have an older video, though. We have that 2X video where we aligned in one room and are able to continue walking and maintain really good alignment throughout this building.
Okay, maybe we can watch it at this point.
Survey coordinate.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So that was, by the way you present these model objects, it's like, in a way, wireframe presentation.
Yes, thank you for noticing.
Yeah. So has that proven to be the right way to do it, or?
I don't know if there's a right way, but for, I think, the trade contractors, a lot of them really prefer that. We like it because you can walk. Argyle's designed for a walk. And you can't really do that if there's holograms in your way. When we first tried traditional rendering styles, to us, it felt that our vision was being blocked. Like, it was very effective, but I wanted more a guide than, a VR experience. So we spent some time doing edge rendering, which is what you see there. And we've released an updated style to this rendering that allows you to do shaders and have some opacity as well. But yeah, we're really proud of our edge rendering. It makes everything on site a lot, it just feels more comfortable, in my experience.
Yeah, that's right. So I know that there are some other applications in this area as well. What is Argyle capable to do today?
I mean, so people choose Argyle when they have alignment needs. So when being on site is really important. If you just want to look at your model in a 3D kind of view, there are many applications that'll be appropriate for that. Argyle is chosen when you want to do really productive professional work on the site. We are seen most often for this installation use case. It's taking off. The lawyer in me says, don't compare me to a total station yet, but I know some customers are investigating and comparing us against total station because visually working is so nice and so easy on their team and trains better than just doing it through traditional work methods. So Argyle's used when you want to do professional work. We're designed for that frontline person and less maybe the office.
Okay. So you mentioned already the kind of hardware that you need. Is there what else do you need besides those glasses or
Sure.
iPad?
Yeah, so we have a how it works video in our folder. You need a model.
Mhm.
So we always start with, you need a model, you need a site, you need a use case. So this never goes well if all you're wanting to do is see augmented reality for funsies.
Mm.
It is always better if you have something that's driving the real use case here, which we're finding to be, we want to go faster in our layouts, and this brings our team up to speed more quickly. We're finding it for, we're tired of fabricating stuff that doesn't end up fitting.
Mm-hmm.
These are the use cases that we're coming up with, or that our customers are coming up with and coming to us with. And our initial use case of quality assurance is also one that they continue to use. But it's surprising to me how that's just become one little piece in the puzzle.
Okay.
Yeah. The video. So yeah, you need a model, you need to upload it, and then you need to position it to the site. You do that off of some known something. You can do a stake in the ground if you don't have anything at all and you just got an open lot like we have a lot of out here. Or you can do something as detailed as a survey. It just depends on what you have available to you. And I think one of the reasons Argyle is preferred is site folks tend to know what on site is authoritative in their model. They know better than me. They set Argyle up faster than I do because they know their site well. They know their grid lines. They know their major points of reference. And so giving that power back to them and just letting Argyle be the reference and they get to be the experts, and it has been incredible.
What is the learning curve of implementing Argyle?
I think for the field user, very little. It's like a video game. The hardest part of all of it is it's the model, right? Always hardest is the model. So sorry, VDC BIM people, it's going to be toughest on you, but it's still pretty easy. We have 2 plugins, so one for Revit, one for Navisworks. Those compress the model and basically make it load fast on these AR devices without Wi-Fi connection. The learning curve on the VDC side is sometimes you want to make sure you have your section box and you've got your grid lines and your levels available. The things that my software relies on, I need to have you turn on in your software. So we can do that export sometimes, but mostly we would like our customers to be self-sufficient, sending their model updates all the time, and we're just there to support as needed. So very little learning curve for the field, a little bit more for your VDC team. And then everyone else is just, as easy as logging into email. You just look at your portal and check out what the field's done today.
Okay. I had one startup founder as a guest recently, and he said that he doesn't believe in, at least at first, in an application that you can just download from the internet with your credit card, pay with your credit card, and assume that everybody starts using it. So he thought that there is a certain amount of hand holding required.
Yeah.
So do you agree?
I think that construction and right. So like you're talking startup founders. So we're in this world where we're compared against other like fintech startup here and health tech. So all of this, they have all these different metrics that may or may not be appropriate for construction. I don't really care. I just listen to the customers. So the challenge, and I think where the founder is correct, is like construction is not just going to necessarily pull out their credit card because they see my amazing videos online, and they are amazing, but they need to have IT probably involved. Then they're going to need to get their VDC team involved. Then they need to talk to the project manager and be like, what do you think about these goggles? A little too silly, or do we think this is going to be okay? And then they see what it can do. It's so much of an enterprise style sale. I'm not saying that it's the same thing, but it is, you're talking to lots of people at the firm. You have to be involved. You have to hold their hand. We've had really quick sales, of course, because there's smaller construction companies. They move really quickly. But for the most part, yeah, you gotta work with this industry for where they're at. I guess it just depends on what you're selling, though.
Yeah.
I'm still selling augmented reality, so I gotta hold hands.
Yeah. Before we started this live stream, you mentioned that you're happy now to be in AR. So, what's in the future for you? What makes you happy?
Well, that it's taking off. This bet that I made, 5 years ago is paying off. That I'm really happy about it because my customers are happy. That to go for years and years where, like I said, the exchange was I was getting something out of my construction customers. They were giving to me. And when that finally flipped, it felt so good. So I feel really happy about that. Future for us, I want more integrations. I get people calling us up all the time with the most unique use cases, like shipbuilding software. And I'm like, ooh, I really wish I had an integration for that, because that's a perfect use case. You've got a tight space, heavy equipment. But I don't necessarily have that immediate BIM to make it happen for them. So I can't necessarily promise it, and they're not going to take out their credit card like you say. So you got to find what we can do now. And we're going to get those integrations in very soon as we can. Other things that excite me is that augmented reality is essentially a bunch of images. And we all know that images are used to train computers, like vehicles, what things are. So if you've been on the internet lately, you've probably had to tell them that you're a real person by saying this is a traffic light and this is a motorcycle. Well, when you take these two concepts together, that you have a BIM model that's properly overlaid on a real site, you have an incredibly robust, essentially like data labeling platform that's unique to our industry. Construction, it's not ready for like an AI maybe chat today, but I think that the way I've seen chat upskill my dev team could really actually correlate to upskilling construction out there in the field. But they need proper data, and that data needs to be trained by real experienced humans. So that excites me. And Taylor Swift, always, like, new album. Does she ever quit writing? I don't know. Those are the things. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Well, where can our listeners and audience in general find your company online?
Yes, we are at argyle.build. That's how you'll find us.
All right.
Fill out our we have you can actually test augmented reality today if you have a device. We have 2 demo projects up on the site, so you just sign up and check them out.
Fantastic. Well, Maret, thanks for this exciting discussion, and all the best for your future endeavors.
Oh, thank you so much. It was good to see you again.
Thanks for listening. Subscribe to this podcast and visit aec-business.com, the award-winning blog, for more news and stories.